Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe.
Welcome to the Maderi Music Podcast, where we explore the intersections of creative arts, healing, psychology, politics, and social justice. As always, we are your hosts, Dorian Wallace.
And it's your girl, DeMarisa Simmons.
Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe.
Education is key. That is the thing. I've been watching online what's happening in Iran. I don't know if you know about this movement. They're sort of knocking off the turbans of the ruling class, the mujahideen. That's what's happening. Yeah, it's fantastic. These little kids, these young people, coming up, and it's funny because it's great because obviously it's horrible what might happen to them if they get caught. But these videos are so sort of joyous, and there's you could hear giggles, and they're come up and just knock off these turbans, and it's such an extreme act of rebellion. There's a revolution coming in Iran. And it's because of education. It's because of the kids. These are the kids who are at school. These are the kids who are in the university who are saying, no, we're not going to take it anymore. Education is key.
I agree. And so just sharing a little bit of light, I teach political education to young people. And Tuesday, we taught our young people about Ella Baker. So we teach through an intergenerational space. Our youngest person is 9. Our oldest is 25. And it was hard to see the disappointment in our young people in their education system. So we went around the room. It was just so awesome, right? So we went around the room and this transaction is happening. The young people reflecting back what they learned about Ella Baker. And then they're challenging patriarchy. They're so why is it that they're saying she was the person behind Martin Luther King, but they're not acknowledging her, right? At all, really. And then 2, why are we not learning about this? And so each of them, my daughter is I'm learning about the Navajo tribe, right? And that's great to learn about the Navajo tribe, but I have never heard of anything about Ella Baker. All I know is Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. That's it. But taking a deeper dive, right? Oh, and so with that, my daughter's in school, rallying up her peers and creating a petition around inserting culturally relevant content in the curriculum, right? And she's in there challenging her teachers in a very positive way, right? Because that's what young people do. They're fearless and they mean it. So she's just you guys need to know about this too. Because how can you impart change on the world or just ignite that in us if you don't even know it, right? So you got to know it too, right? So there's a call of accountability, but also we would see us as a people, as a race, lean more into our humanity, right? It harms all of us when the context around, and I speak more about Black American, African, Pan-African history is slavery, civil rights movement today, right? There were so many other liberating movements that need to be brought in the room so that people can understand or see past or knock down those cultural barriers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Preach.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yes.
Where are all of the Black inventors in America, in our history books? Where are all of, it's the athletes and the musicians, but where are all the scientists, And God, I'm so with you on this. I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and at the time it was 2% ethnic. That means anything that wasn't white, right? So in my school, of course, there was nothing on the books except, like you said, it's like slavery, civil rights movement, but a little bit of each of those, and today, right? And it's shocking to me to hear that is still the case. Number one, and number two, this movement throughout the school system. You guys know more about this than I do, but the fact that with critical race theory and the idea of children being uncomfortable speaking about race, like how do we affect change if we don't talk to our children truthfully, honestly, throw light on the past, and not just, like you said, not just the showing the Black population in America in this sort of patented, small, really constricting little roles. Like, how do we affect change without telling a fuller story?
Yep, I agree. And to further that, I think critical race theory is a scholarly PhD thing right now. And it is, I love it, right? Because any progressive initiative is awesome. There was a moment where we weren't even allowed to discuss those things. I'm thankful, not against critical race theory, but a lot of it is missing the historical context, the underlying pieces. And it's missing NTA, which we call non-traditional approach, right? So we are just keeping it in scholarly PhD rooms, and those who are studying it and discovering it are loving the feedback and it's like the savior complex, right? So like, thank you for doing that. But we all know that if you want to change the culture of any system, you have to start with the young people. And so I almost feel that anyone who is studying critical race theory should have a call to action to teach that to a kindergarten class, to teach 100%. That to middle schoolers, to teach that to high schoolers in a way that is real and digestible. Also, too, it's funny because, and I said I'm teaching this intergenerational class, so the oldest, who is 23, is like, all of you guys keep talking about school, and we know schools aren't shit. Excuse me, y'all, but right, we know that public schools don't teach us our history. We know this. Why are you so upset? He said, we need to be teaching this in our homes, right? And one of the young people raised her hand and was like, I don't know this, and my mother definitely doesn't know this. And her mother probably doesn't know it either. So we can't keep saying it's on you to teach that at home, right? We need to be, as community leaders, teaching that in our communities. We need to be teaching that through our music, right? In the way that Dorian, just having more spaces like this, where we kind of lay it out there and let it bubble up into whatever it is that it needs to bubble up into, right? Bringing Fred Hampton in the space brings all of these things into the space, right? And so maybe we need to do more of that.
Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe.
You have been listening to a sample of a premium episode of the Maderi Music Podcast. You can subscribe for $5 a month to get access to all of our premium episodes and give the show a chance to grow and remain editorially independent.
We don't run any advertising on the show, and we'd like to keep it that way. Head on over to patreon.com/Maderi Music.
In the words of our comrade Assata Shakur, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We'll see you next time.
Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words.